code. All right. So, I wasn't gonna do anything recovery based for a while, and then I looked at some videos today, and I was like, I don't know. Right. I still really don't know what I'm doing. I know that there's a lot of controversy with what's happening right now. So for me to just sit down and do something where I actually just take accountability and take my own inventory and do something that's recovery related, even though I've been going through all this stuff in the rooms. And, I feel very lucky that I was introduced to the idea that I could still do AA even if I can't access the rooms or even if there's issues in the program. There really isn't an excuse not to do some form of program and not drink. So that's what I'm doing right now to kind of get through some of the personal issues that I've been dealing with lately. All right, so what about, we're Boxing Day. Accepting success or failure. Furthermore, how shall we come to terms with seeming failure or success? Can we now accept and adjust to either without despair or pride? Can we accept poverty, sickness, loneliness, and bereavement with courage and serenity? Good God. Can we steadfastly content ourselves with humbler yet sometimes more durable satisfactions when the brighter, more glittering achievements are denied us? 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 112. After I found AA, I stopped drinking. It took a while before I understood why my first step contained two parts. I like this. This is a good one. My powerlessness over alcohol, and my life's unmanageability. In the same way, I believed for a long time that in order to be in tune with the 12 steps, it was enough for me to carry this message to alcoholics. That was rushing things. I was forgetting that there were a total of 12 steps and that the 12 step also had more than one part. Eventually, I learned that it was necessary for me to practice these principles in all areas of my life. In working all the steps thoroughly, I not only stay sober and help someone else to achieve sobriety, but I also transform my difficulty with living into a joy of living. Dun, dun, dun. That's actually interesting. I'll get into it while I get into my inventory. Page 86, Alcoholics Anonymous, who tried to constructively review or they were resentful. So wow, it was a crazy day on television today. I sat inside all day because I was so tired. I've been getting better. I had like a spurt of energy yesterday and I did a lot of working out, and then today I could just barely move, but I did start ripping the couch apart, and I'm actually gonna turn this old couch, I'm gonna upcycle it into like a little crochet little kid's couch. I think it would be fun. And I'm going to start putting some stuff up on Carrot and just cleaning stuff up and paring down and everything like that. And that's exactly it. These living problems that I have with all the things that I've been experiencing, the bystander trauma, has had me kind of in a situation where I feel doubled over. I feel like I can't make anything work. The cyber stalking online and off, the financial abuse, the threats, the death threats. Yeah, we got assassins running around town, in every town, Would I suck one off to fucking survive? Yes. Like, of course. What if it's a girl? I usually say, I'm not gay, but a 20 is a 20, but I actually might just, I'm kind of tired of having to fake it. So I know that sounds bad. I'm not trying to be mean. If you can do it, power to you. I'm just not feeling it anymore. Such guys. I actually fucking hate women now. So I don't hate all women, but just in that regard, I don't feel like I really want to put myself in that situation. And if you can do it, great for you. For me, I'm not feeling it. Like, if I have to suck off some dude, that's okay. If it's a happy ending for me, that's great too, and I don't die. But, other than that. But, just thinking, okay, what can I do in the moment? All right. And looking at the dysfunction in my life too, really taking inventory. Is that true, or do I think that's true? When I'm taking inventory online, when I'm working in my app, looking at stuff that's happening around the house. My little Edward there looks like he might be a she and might be pregnant and might be nesting. Okay, I gotta get an enclosure. I gotta get an enclosure. I'm gonna have to get the mouse out. That's all there is to it. There's gonna be so much mouse poop under that fucking stove. I just didn't have the heart to kill another pregnant rodent. I hope my landlord isn't watching this. I'm sorry. Also, I had to cancel my insurance. I hope you don't kick me out. She might demand I get apartment insurance again. I might have to. But I do. I want to look for some plexiglass, something or other, just to put the little guy in, or girl, or whatever, and wood chips and food proper. I don't want roaches and other rodents running around. You know, it's either a pet or it has to go out. That's it, right? And that's not a good time. But yeah, just looking at the plants the other day and the way they were kind of falling apart, you know, I don't know if there was weed killer in it. I don't know why they weren't doing so well and why I was getting sick. People definitely made threats, and I definitely had some issues, and it was right beside his bed. And then I looked at the couch and I was like, yeah, no, someone had opened the cushion. And I was like, yeah, you know what, if one person has the key, we're so close to the border. You know, I was doing the thing in my app last night about why we don't name sources or why we don't name names. You know, and I just talked about some people who I knew were underage when I was a kid, you know, who were running drugs, but it was so rampant. Like, everybody did it. Like, I didn't know too many people who didn't, and the people I did know, I felt like I wanted to protect them. You know, like, I did. And I felt like there were people out there who really wanted to protect me too. And it's not to enable, it's to not get entrenched, right? Like, that's what it comes down to. I don't name names, and I used to, but I don't do it anymore since I've been in the program. Even in Alcoholics Anonymous, I don't do it. And it's not to name names, it's not to get entrenched, it's to stay out of the shit show. But at the same time, if I have a couch that you can hide fucking dope in, you know, should I, especially when it's close to a kid's bed, you know, especially watching those plants, I was just like, I might be learning a good lesson here preemptively, you know. I have to, it's not how it is, it's how I want it to be, you know. So a lot of tools I've been dipping into is the 1, 2, 3 process, the 3 C's. I didn't cause it, I can't cure it, I can't control it. The 3, pause, pray, proceed, the 3 P's, you know, and rule 62, don't take yourself so damn seriously. I have been taking the oil. I feel it's more of a medication than anything else. I couldn't take too much today, but, you know, it's helping. I do like a 5-50 ratio, and it's been really good. It's more like a medication. It's more like a serotonin uptake inhibitor or an antipsychotic. And I do get the giggles periodically. But is it helping me just to kind of calm down and focus on working out and, you know, focus on being more task oriented? Yeah, it's helping. For sure. And I know that whatever I'm going through right now, a drink is going to make it worse. It will definitely make it worse. And that's my amends to society, right? Again, it's a privilege for me to have a place. It's a privilege for me to get a check from the government to pay for the place and to buy food. It's a privilege for me to be able to walk out the door and be a somewhat free person, right? Regardless of what's happening right now with this merger where I am not to be spoken of publicly. But I am obviously, you know, everybody knows about it, you know, from here to Montreal. Everybody's very fucking aware that this is a very sick fucking situation. And there's literally nothing I can do about it, you know. Like, I was thinking, but I was like, yeah, you know, like, you get hit by a car and you're the schizophrenic, right? Like, it's that kind of level of corruption, you know. What am I going to do about it? If reactive abuse is the issue, if reactive abuse and trusting the wrong people are issues, how am I making right? You know, I love what I've learned from Andrew and Jihi. I've learned some really good tools, you know, and I couldn't do that without this program. I couldn't read books like this and take notes, even though I was so sick. Even though my eye still swells, my brain still swells, I still get really bad headaches. I couldn't do stuff before, right? And it took a long time. It took a long time, and I also needed a quiet place to be able to do that, to put thoughts together, to put ideas together, to get organized, right? And to do some anger management. Yeah, I love what I've learned even from people like Sam Faddis, and I agree a lot with him. But when he says, you know, that there's no such thing as coke dealing pimps in the CIA, I'm like, that's fucking bullshit, motherfucker, right? So, you know, but that's me, that's my experience. And for me, it's dangerous to deny that. That's dangerous. Also, I don't have to run around ruining fucking lives over it with what I think I know, right? There's a middle ground where I can do no harm, take no shit, right? I don't have to play any games because I'm not playing around with people, and I don't have to hurt people. But I think it was so good with that name, blah, blah, drop, blah, I'm so thug. No, no, it's not. It's so ruinous, you know. And I was thinking about that last night. I was thinking about all the people I knew who were stigmatized, including myself, who had so much potential because they got wrapped up in drugs and because of the stigma of selling drugs, you know. And I didn't even sell a lot. I wasn't a big fucking dope dealer, like, ever, you know, like, hardly, but just the stigma is a lot. So I try to stay away from causing more harm, especially if I've been burned by that same iron. That's not hurting. It's all right. I'm not digging it, but I might try to do like an Amber Rose again. I don't know. It'd be fun. But yeah, you know, I mean, it's things are changing, you know, changing rapidly, and things are going to change. That's the one thing we know that's permanent is impermanence. There, I got my Buddhist thing in there. Fall down sometimes, stand up 8, you know. Listen to Father Martin when I don't want to. You know, if I don't want to listen to him making fun of Chinese people, I don't have to. There was a time where, you know, he'd make fun of Chinese people, and then Chinese people would call him the pedophile priest and chase him up and down. It was like that in the 80s growing up. Kids were mouthy. It was when Night Court was on. If you could dish it out, you had to be able to take it. People would push back. That's why mosh pits happened. And everything has changed so much. So, you know, it's nice. In some ways I get really upset, I get scared, I get lonely, but, you know, like, it's really nice to be able to think in terms of, I can upcycle a couch, you know. I had trouble with Shopify before. Can I try Shopify again, or some other site, you know, to sell things on? And if I can't do that, can I try going to a store again? Can I try again? You know, just because you know, first you don't succeed, try again. I don't have to acquiesce to defeat. You know, and I felt it because I've been catastrophizing a lot. I've been really scared. I'm really anxious. And that was very traumatic for me, and it didn't even happen to me, right? It didn't even happen to me. I tend to attract more like Sigma, Alpha male type guys who can get a little rough. And for me, that's not always a good time. You know, I'm not gay, but a 20 is a 20. But, you know, sometimes I do feel like I have preferences. Like, if you send a female assassin as opposed to a male assassin, I don't know that I'm going to suck her off the way I would a dude. Is butt stuff and finger pointing bringing down America? Hasn't it brought down like every fucking empire since the beginning of time? Like, since Rome, since Greece, there's always some hedonistic fool who's like, yeah, but just the tip. Right? And then, no, I didn't do it. You did it. No, you did it. And then fighting leads to warring, and warring leads to killing. And then that was damn well near the death of us all. I did a really good version of that. It was from Mad Max. It's Thunderdome. So just being able to kind of stay in the present moment is not an easy thing for me. It's never been an easy thing for me. You know, yesterday, today, and tomorrow, I think of that reading. And it's been very, very difficult for me to kind of stay in the present, stay focused on tasks and things I need to do. My place is starting to accumulate dirt again. You know, where did all my money go? Okay. I'm keeping track of things to a degree, and it's good, but I've also been so sick and so winded by everything and reasonably traumatized. I'm reasonably upset and I'm reasonably traumatized. It's not unreasonable, but even talking about it can get me charged with slander, and I've been told so. I've been told a million times. I've been told off and told off. So I'm trying to stay away from getting into any shit shows or mudslinging online or off. But do I need to do a proof of life every now and then? It might be an idea. I don't know. But yeah, you know, things are changing, and how am I adapting to that change? You know, checking my motives when I medicate, you know, for anxiety, for pain, and then really, really, you know, knuckling down on myself when I don't need to, right? Just really being honest with myself, what I need, what I don't need right now. yeah, it's the whole dinner and a movie first, right? I really was under the impression that eventually one day Warner was going to make good on some kind of like, we'll get you a minimum wage job at least, not leave me struggling at 50 years old with sending fucking psycho motherfuckers at me like this, and really, really pissing off Canadian taxpayers and really, really losing my loyalty as well. Like, I don't even know. It's kind of weird, like when someone or a company or an organization or an agency like comes at you like that so fucking aggressively, repeatedly over decades, and you're just like, shit hits the fan for them, and they're looking at you like, you don't talk, bitch, or else, it's like you've done every fucking war crime you shouldn't have fucking done. What am I, I pray for strength to, not get this kid killed by speaking up for him so that he doesn't get killed. It's a scary situation, but I'm not the only person who's ever been through anything like this, and I'm not the only person who's ever going to go through anything like this. So it's kind of like, well, I should just talk about it and what it's like to be an alcoholic who's supposed to be in the program but was literally chased out by the snuff porn element because it's such a powerful element now. And this is what corruption does. This is what happens when we don't put principles before personalities. When our primary purpose is supposed to be to stay sober to help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety, or to stay clean to help other addicts achieve clean time, and we prioritize making predators or showbiz people feel better about themselves. It's like Scott R says, if you have the showbiz God, it's bound to fucking fail you, because you're only praying to showbiz type values and morals. It doesn't matter what program you do, whether you're doing 12-step, Christian, Buddhist, agnostic, Satan, whatever. there's rules to maintain cohesion within a society. And if you want to be a fucking agent of chaos, don't expect everything to be calm. Don't expect to compete with Heath Ledger's Joker when it comes to greed or when it comes to immorality. In some ways he was even more moral. And that guy just wanted to see the fucking world burn because he just liked to watch shit burn. So, we're sick people. And it's true. Only alcoholics think they're fucking geniuses. We have a way of really fucking shit up. So I try to not get into that too much. Selfish. No, I gotta remember to be grateful. It's not easy and I don't want to do it and take my will back. So getting back to that step 1, 2, 3 process, I heard Joe and Charlie say the other night, and I hadn't heard this before because I was freaking out too much when I was listening to Joe and Charlie to actually listen. So it's weird, like you take marijuana oil to go listen to Joe and Charlie. It seems counterintuitive, right? But for me, it really helped me focus on the idea that, yes, Dr. Silkworth is the reason we have a step 1. Step 2 is Dr. Jung, and step 3 is because of the Oxford group. Duh. Why didn't I see that? Because I couldn't focus before. Because my ADD was that bad. My anxiety was that bad. My reactivity was that bad. So I do apologize to people who are on the receiving end of that. I hope you don't feel scared in my presence. And also I hope to not feel scared in your presence as well. But as far as selfishness goes, is gratitude a great way to get out of it? If I do a quick gratitude list. Have I been doing enough? No. I'll have to get back on that. But when I do, it's amazing how far a little bit can go, and how much that has changed my thinking, whether you want to call it cognitive behavioral therapy, talk therapy, whatever you want to call it. It is amazing to me that, I can still function somewhat dishonest. Not to my knowledge, but I'm starting to kind of check my what I say. If I have a memory of something, is that accurate? Is that 100% accurate? Is it about me? Is it kind? Is it necessary? That kind of stuff. And also challenging myself to think in different ways. I was thinking about a boy I thought I had a crush on, and then I shut it down because I wasn't sure, because I thought I got hit by a car and some friends were there. And I was like, well, it couldn't have been all about me. Because at one point I was like, no, there's no way it was all about me. I was like, yeah, no, there's no way it was all about you. The whole fucking class had a crush on him. Just, okay, just relax, and maybe accidents happen, and maybe you weren't there and you don't know what the fuck happened, like I'll have this tendency to make things about me when it has nothing to do with me, or completely just kind of shut it down, and not look at, how that affected that person, or that person is, just as capable of being attacked. They could be white, they could be Aryan, Nordic, and they can still be attacked, because back in the day, Nazis didn't give a fuck. Back in the day, fucking US military, British military didn't give a fuck. Whatever military didn't give a fuck. Whatever, right? Like, that's how, that was the hard, fast fucking rule. If you weren't going to get in line, you're going to the fucking camp, you're going to the jail, or you're going to get segregated with these people over here, And that, not just people of color or visible minorities, were targets. Back in the day, he would have been sent to a fucking camp. That's it. He would have been sent to a death camp for his beliefs. Just for being a nice guy. Not being a bastard. Right? So it just helps me to open my mind and think about things. And why did I bring that up? What does that have to do with alcoholism? Nothing. I just tend to overthink things. But also, sometimes I don't think enough about other people's perspectives and where they're coming from, too. Just being accepting that there's a huge universe out there. The universe made all of us. I saw this in Ottawa. It was a cute t-shirt. It said, "Don't kill yourself. The universe made you for a reason." And I was like, yeah, even if we're fucking clones of fucking clones, the universe saw fit to make us for whatever. I was just listening to Art Bell and Malachi Martin talk about fucking cloning Jesus in the Shroud of Turin. It was fucking hilarious. I'm ripping apart the couch. And, it switched that feeling of uselessness and self-pity went like that. It just switched so fast, and I was so grateful about it. I was like, I should just do like a really quick inventory, not a vanity smurf inventory, not a pointy finger, but more like a pointy finger back in type of inventory. So yeah, that gratitude list, is a great way to kind of get out of all that toxic thinking, all that fear-based thinking. What is fear an acronym for? Fuck everything and run, or face everything and rise. I think I still have turmeric on my fingers. I do. It's such a mess. What'd you do for Christmas? I was a fucking mess. That's what I did. But it could be so much worse. So dishonest. Yeah, just trying to like check my motives with my honesty, and also realizing that I'm saying things through a filter. There are people out there who are pro-Israel. You're never going to change them. It doesn't mean they're necessarily bad people, even if I don't agree with that. And I think it's bad or wrong because I have my personal opinions. But it doesn't mean that I have to be an anti-Semite, So I don't have to go for this black and white thinking where I'm only on one team and I hate all Jews. Now, will most of them be pressured to kind of stick together on their stance? Yeah, that's accepting life on life's terms. But I don't necessarily have to agree with it or disagree or be disagreeable or spread more hatred or cause more harm. I was never even good about thinking about that, let alone having those words come out of my mouth. There's nothing about what I'm saying right now that is like unique or special. But it wasn't stuff that I had been grown up around. That wasn't the higher power in my house. The higher power was very different, and then just lie about it and then show up like kind of a facsimile of these words, like the Coles notes of these words, like the Coles notes of these concepts, but not actually, trying to apply them, trying to live rightly. So, yeah, it's been some stuff. I can't believe I just said all that. It feels good to talk it out, though. So dishonest. Yeah, honesty is like, it's relative, and my memory is sketched at best, right? But it's good to just work things out. And it made me think of, it was Danny Trejo. If you really want to get in depth in your inventory and find out what hand they touched it with, not that this guy did any touching at all, didn't, go there. Go in depth. If you need to go in depth. But if it gets you nothing but miserable, it's time to go do something else. And it was so good to have that seed planted in my head, even though I'm kind of pissed with Dan and I'm pissed with Americans, and I'm also getting told to, watch what you fucking say. that kind of stuff. We can cut off your money. We can make you homeless. And that can happen. And I'm definitely not getting offers from America. I'm getting offers to get fucking shit kicked. And definitely there's Hollywood money that I've helped people make coming down hard, fast, you know, paying off the PD, paying off government officials or whoever. A lot of people are obviously very well aware that he's being held down in a pedophile ring. And, you know, I'm getting torture porn over it. And there's very little I can do. You know, I feel very locked in. So the trauma has been really, like, real. And, you know, I have come to a point where I'm so fed up. You know, am I willing to die for my beliefs? Well, I'm going to fucking die anyways. You know, I'm going to be a fucking miserable bitch about it. And I definitely don't want to be a kitty pimp. That's for fucking sure. You know, I didn't come all this way just be so fucking miserable. I was listening to fucking Sphincter tonight, The Fall, by Ministry, and I enjoy it. I enjoy stuff I used to enjoy, but better now, with more clarity. You know, they say hindsight is 20/20. You know, foresight's like a 50-50 chance. I didn't know I'd be here right now. There's so many things I wanted to be doing, and so many things I'm angry about that I don't have. You know, not being able to access education or proper health care, proper things that people said that, you know, I was owed or I was going to be given, being cut and being given to these rich guys. You know, I'm kind of at a point, and it's not to be cruel or rude, but I am sick of watching these rich white men kind of dangle it over my face and then, you know, be bullies about it, right? And it's not all white men, it's not all rich white men. I'm not even going to go there because there are some really nice ones out there, but it is, sometimes it gets ad nauseum. Sometimes I'm like, okay, that's nice. Yeah, no, I needed that. You didn't need that. I needed that, you know, but, you know, I gotta watch it. It's scary. It's really, really scary when you're being bullied financially and you can't put enough money together or even get law enforcement to take you seriously. And they never did. You know, everything that happened to you that was bad was the source of amusement for people. Who the fuck are these people? I'm reading this Machiavelli, say fortune is a woman, you gotta beat the shit out of her. I'm like, you stupid fucks. They're all so fucking Aleister Crowley. They literally take this shit seriously like a bunch of fucking Bible thumpers. Only they're like, we're better than Bible thumpers. It's like, no, you're not. You're just as fucking retarded. And I'm thinking of like Osho, like democracy for the people, by the people, but the people are retarded. And I'm like, yeah. And it's like, and they need a retarded government for retarded people. I'm like, fuck yeah. That guy was a genius. Amazing to me. But you know, I don't know why I'm ranting. I'm so dishonest. How about afraid? Let's go to afraid. Yeah, obviously, because I'm still talking. There was some stuff in this book I learned that was good. You know, one was talking about keeping noble people around you who weren't greedy, because in times that are tough, they aren't going to turn on you. And in times that are good, when things are going good, you know, they're going to make you look good. You know, they're going to be there to support you and also validate your values. There's some good values. Some of them are kind of sketched, but some of them are valuable. And then another one was talking about the disease of perception right away, and how he created these huge grandiose, in The Prince with Castruccio, how he created these grandiose image crafts, you know, and how we're all still into that today, and how even I get into that. I get stuck in that disease of perception or self-perception. The don't you know who I think I am, right? I get stuck in all that shit. So, you know, right-sizing that, and why did he do that, you know, to sell an image to the people, you know. But also it was like I always had a thing for like the middleman, the middle management. I always like those kind of guys, right? And he's really talking about having to kind of filter the wants and the desires of the people versus, you know, having to balance with these princes, you know, and the ego and the magnificent of them all and everything. And he knows it's bullshit, right? He even calls like the persecution of the Jews and the Moors, you know, during the Spanish Inquisition, completely pitiful, especially at the hands of the church, when it was so unnecessary. You know, people didn't think you could bank on the people, but you could bank on the people. Was he somewhat exploitative? Yeah. Was he less exploitative than most of his day? Yes, without a doubt. You know, it's interesting to learn and to think in these terms. You know, it's kind of fun side hack thing to do. You know. Anyway, so was I afraid? Yeah. Yeah, and I have to dig into my tools. You know, when all else fails, Fear, fuck everything and run, or face everything and rise. Get up out of bed. Okay, I'm tired, I'm run down, I've been, trying to eat less because I'm under a lot of pressure to lose weight. It's difficult when people want you to do stage. They don't want you to not do stage, but also you're not making enough money to pay to not do the stage, but also they want you to lose weight to be on the stage. And then you're my age and you've been through the vaccine injury or whatever the fuck it is I have. I don't know if it was fucking sepsis. I don't know if it was fucking candida auris. It's disgusting fuckface fuckery. I mean, really, you dance and sing a little bit better than the aliens, an actual alien, but come on, bitch, please. How terrifying, and people are complaining, and I don't blame them, that the coup we just had wasn't bad enough, that the fire in Hollywood wasn't big enough, that she probably said it, because if we had actually said it, everything would be leveled, if Canadian taxpayers had done it. And these are heavy topics. They cause me stress. So I have to remember to breathe. Kept something ourselves to discuss with another person at once now. Oh, do we owe an apology? I am so sorry. I apologize to whoever needs to hear that they are sorry, or that I am sorry. I am so sorry. I am so, so sorry. I am so sorry. And, whatever I can do to make it right within reason, please let me know. But you'll have to let me know because I'm not a mind reader. I'm barely a mind user. I'm discovering. We're kind of living to it all. No. What could we have done better? I'm not planning anyone's demise, but I wasn't I wasn't actively gushing bullshit fucking, saccharine motherfucker, and I have to put up boundaries with people because it's not enough, right? And it's not just about me. It's not just about my life or my safety or, my body or my finances, my heart, my well-being. This is about a child under the age of 18. And everyone else who's a fucking shit disturber in this, as far as I know, is over the age of 18, except for those shit fucking kids that people get fucking shut the fuck up. They keep telling me to shut the fuck up. I actually love living here. Even when shit hits the fan, I don't know why. It's just a strange place to live. Once you're here, it's but it's not easy to live here. It's like being in Montreal in the 90s during the Guerre de Mortard. Only this is more like a silent war. It's more psyops. It's pretty wild. Kept telling myself should be discussed with another person once. No. Kind of looking toward all. No. What could we have done better? I could have stretched and worked out, but I did so much yesterday. And it was nice to just do stuff yesterday. Really push myself out there. Try to get more organized with my thoughts, get more organized with my workouts, and also it's that comfortable edge. Dust off dust. God, I had so much dust piling up. I have more cleaning to do. I have so much cleaning and so much purging to do. It's unbelievable. Am I insane to build a little mini room for the just in case? Probably. Are things going to go my way? Why would I expect anything to go my way? Even though it should go my way. And I know that doesn't mean it will, and it is, it's difficult for me to kind of believe in a Jesus right now after being genocided so fucking badly and openly. There's no other way to say it, so it's kind of when the church is coming after me again, it's that whole, why are you guys enabling these other guys with sex problems because they have money? Meanwhile, I have been so fucking viciously targeted, and you'll even tell nuns to shut the fuck up, right? But you don't want to protect, yeah, I understand, Father Malachi Martin says something and then he gets fucking capped. Yeah, what the fuck, what kind of religion is this? What kind of cult is this? With all this fucking human sacrifice going on and kitty raping, what the fuck? I don't traditionally think of Catholicism or Catholics like that. I think of them as the antithesis with the ones I've met. But then I've met ones who hate those ones. And they see them as the enemy. And they want to know who they are and where they live and where they work and where they go to school and what their kids' names are. And that's scary shit. And again, butt stuff will be the end of any great fucking empire. You get too far up someone's fucking ass too fast, too hardcore. No dinner and a movie first. No getting to fucking know them. No lube. Downfall, man. Fucking downfall. All around, man. Fall the church. Fall the British Empire. Fall fucking... Here we go. Right? Our government just got fucking ass whooped. Yep, there goes LA. Yeah, like it just fucking... It's not rocket surgery. But the people are retarded. Fucking stupid. Same thing over again and expecting different fucking results. Like, yeah, just forget it. Just forget it. Right? Like, do no harm, take no shit. I don't have to say who people are who fucking do drugs or sell drugs or this, that. I also don't have to have a couch in my living room where people can store it half a kilometer away from the fucking Nexus border. Especially if people are coming in and out. Okay. I can do both without naming names and ruining lives. But yeah, would I have a couch like that again? No, I should have figured that out faster. I should have been like, and I wasn't. It took me a long time to figure that shit out. It took too long. And I hope that I never take too long to figure shit out like that again. Because that was some serious shit to figure out. And that shouldn't have been so serious. I've seen lots of movies. I've seen Colors. I don't remember anything hiding in a couch in Colors. I've seen Heat with Sandra Bullock. It was behind the wall. But I lived in one of those Seagrams, like, rum runner houses in Montreal. They had those underground tunnels, and they were fun. And sometimes they have, like, panels, like, secret panels and passageways and stuff. I always found that cool. My grandfather's farm had a secret passage. It wasn't that secret, but it looked like a closet door. But it actually led to, like, another huge room and a stairway. It was pretty cool. You just never know. So never judge a book by its cover. Lesson learned. We think of ourselves most of the time. No. Thinking what we could do for others, pack and stream life. Yes. And, you know, when I do that, right, even though things may not turn out my way, things may not go well, if I just do something that's not me-centered, you know, sitting in that bitter morass of self-pity, you know, I kind of got to break those chains of self-centeredness, you know, those shackles of self-centeredness, you know. Under the lash of alcoholism, we're driven to AA, and then and only there, you know, could we realize the devastating nature of our fatal illness or fatal malady or whatever, however that wording is. I haven't read that step 1 and the 12 and 12 in a while, but someone gave me an app, and that was pretty cool. Or they gave me advice about an app, and that was pretty cool. You know, I don't have to live within the bondage of self, or the brainwashed version of self, or the brainwashed version of a narcissist, right? I can actually just be a fucking decent human being, right? I can wash the dishes and look both ways before I cross the street, and I can follow the fucking law, because that's the shit you're supposed to fucking do. But when the higher power in your life tells you otherwise, you're gonna go with groupthink. I've done it. You know, I know what it's like to be on both ends of that. You know, the flying monkey, the golden child, the black sheep, you name it. I've been the target. I've been the targeted. I've done the whole dance, the whole square dance, and I fucked up shit show. You know, so to be able to kind of come out the ass end of it and say, hey, I'm all right, you know. It's like a joke. She was like, there's a girl in the doctor's office. She's like, my bum hurts every time I insert something. And he's like, well, that's the problem. It's supposed to go out, not in. I've been listening to In Through the Outdoor lately. It's just helping me fucking right size. You know, without catastrophizing, without what's the word? Like being too cavalier about things too. Because it's not something you're cavalier about, right? But at the same time understanding that, you know, this is really raw, right? Like, but understanding that people go through it. People survive. And it's not going to help anyone if I go drink my face off and make it all about me. What's going to help is if I have my little tantrum, have my moments where I'm really fucking depressed and anxious, have my cry, have my moment, get it out, deal with it, process it. Okay, now I'm an adult, and that didn't happen to me. Now fucking deal. How am I being of help? How am I being of use? The best way I know how, and that's all I can do. I didn't cause it. I can't cure it. I can't control it. can pause, I can pray, I can proceed, right? And so far that's getting me better than not, you know. There's so many ways this could have gone down bad, you know. It's a genocidal disease, and it takes people out, it takes out whole families, and you don't even have to pick up a drink, you know, for that to happen. Behaviors, you know, and sex addiction is one of the worst, especially when it comes to pedophilia. Something we don't talk a lot about, and a lot of people will spend a lot of money doing an image craft before they actually make it right. And it's bizarre, because to me it's like, you know, sometimes it's less effort to go out and get a job, you know, when I've been through this too, than to stay in an abusive relationship and hope for breadcrumbs, right? And I'm still going through this because I'm still getting pounded down, you know, by obviously paid government officials and law enforcement. Like, obviously this has all been paid up, so I'm not saying anything new. No one's shocked if I say it. You know, can I still get fucking hauled off to the hospital for being a mentally ill, horrible threat to society? Absolutely, 100%. But does everybody in town know? Yeah, like, everyone knows. Like, when you advertise it that much, online and off, like, it becomes really evident, you know. And yeah, people feel helpless. I feel helpless, you know, and I guess they feel sorry for me because I'm not the only one who's ever gone through something like this. Everyone kind of knows what it feels like to be bullied. Everyone knows what it's like to have the apex predator, like, come by, and you can't say anything when it's shitting on you. You have to just let it shit on you and hope it doesn't kill your whole family. And that's it. You know, and for me, I'm kind of like, well, if you don't like the fucking Constitution, if you don't like fucking human rights, if you want to go live in fucking Nazi, fucking Mussolini, fucking Germany, you go fucking do that. All of y'all, get the fuck out of my country, right? And take all these racist fucking Jews with you who are fucking using, like, Gabor Mates as human shields. This is horrible. I'm gonna get fucking kicked off the internet. But I don't have to go there. Right? I don't have to go there at all. What I can do is say, you know what, I don't accept this. Whatever this is. Whatever my opinion, not my opinion. Okay? I don't accept this behavior. Now I'm going to go do my own thing. Okay? Not my circus, not my monkeys. Yes, they caused this fucking harm. I'm wasting my breath trying to get people to see it. They're not going to fucking see it. I grew up with this. You know, I was thinking about that when that RFID went into my arm, and I was sitting beside a boy I liked, and how fast, you know, that systemic controls came down on us. You know, and on one hand, public school is really amazing. You know, sometimes I think public school system is under attack. You know, and in other ways, yeah, some people are more successful because they were homeschooled. There's no doubt about it. You know, they were protected. Their egos were protected. You know. But also there's that fine line between being protected and being enabled. Also, there's that fine line between knowledge and enabling a toxic system. Checks and balances, right? For me, it's like, when I can't keep things safe in my place and people are ripping and tearing constantly because so-and-so did what and what, and then so-and-so's what and what did what and what, and then it carries on and carries on and carries on, and I'm not allowed to say anything or call it out, but people are being targeted, especially children under the age of 18. You know, it's kind of like Netflix can have, you know, put you in concrete fucking shoes if you don't shut the fuck up while they're getting ready to, you know, buy fucking Warner out from under fucking Amazon. I'm kind of like, give me the concrete shoes. Not that I want to sign up for concrete shoes. Not yet. And it feels like I'm walking in concrete shoes most days post-vaccine injury. You know, not that people don't have a problem rubbing that shit in. But, you know, do I have to go there yet? No. No, I have the right to just shut up, mind my business, clean my place, and go as soon as I can fucking make a run for it. Because this shit's fucking bad, right? But why? Run where? Where am I going to run? You know, where am I going to hide? You know, it's more about, you know, getting people to authentically, if you want to authentically fix the problems that we're having right now, the systemic fucking violence that's going on right now, stuff like what's happening with the homelessness and the opioid crisis, just that alone is a homeland security issue. That is a national defense, national security issue. You can't throw a Band-Aid solution on a fucking bullet hole and then pocket the fucking change and expect everything to be okay. You know, so when I grow up And I stopped being afraid of confrontation, but also I don't have to go to the other extreme where I'm a hateful cunt about shit. Also, I don't have to accept hateful cunty fucking behavior either. Yeah, I'm starting to get somewhere, I feel like. You know, I don't feel like I can look down my nose at anyone unless it's to help them up. Also, there's a lot of people who would look down their nose at me to fucking smash me down, and the ones who would look down their nose at me to help me up, I have to keep those people close, just like those noble people that Machiavelli was talking about, right? So it's a different brain, it's a different world. It was cute. I was thinking about that. I was like, that's the black version of fucking Degrassi Junior High. It's probably why I didn't watch it, you know. But did I even have like a misnomer, misfire where I thought my friend had phoned me up to watch Tupac on it? Yeah. Did I? No, I did not watch that episode with him and Jada, yeah, at all. But did I have his army coming up at me when I was working in Montreal? Yeah. Yeah, as I read this Machiavelli book, it's like, it's bittersweet. You know, I get this lump in my throat and a nice little heart chakra hug, you know. It's really interesting. Do I have any facts to support anything of what I'm saying? Nothing. I don't know what's true, what's not. I just know what is true for me right now. So again, practicing Rule 62, not taking myself so seriously. And how am I helping others today? If I can't talk to anyone right now, okay, how am I helping myself in my situation? You know, just cleaning up after the mess. It could have been so much worse. And, you know, even though I'm under the poverty line and stigmatized in North America, outside of North America, I'm still in a very, very lucky position compared to most of the world that lives under that poverty line. So for that, I am grateful. Clean water, clean air. I don't live in an immediate war zone. Hey, it's PSYOPs, crazy fucking KGB poison land. I don't know if that's even KGB poison or CIA poison or whatever. Weed killer poison, whatever. Yeah, don't, you know, just don't. And that's it. Don't go there. Don't react. I have a right to remain silent. That doesn't mean shut myself down. That means I have a right to protect myself and protect my peace. You know, even I think I know something is so right and I have to chant it on and off, up and down, go shout it on the fucking mountain on a megaphone, what the fuck? I have a right to remain silent. I have a right to hold my peace. I have a right to save my energy and hold on to my energy and not burn it up so foolishly, you know, and actually be of use somehow. So that's where I'm at today. That's where I'm living today. I'm going to post this. Hopefully I don't end up homeless over it. I didn't really work hard on this. Again, it was just like one of those free thinking type of things. I might take my 550 before I go to bed. I might take a calcium magnesium. I don't know. You know, it is easier to balance with this medication, and it is easier to kind of retract, I guess, take it down a little bit too when I have to. You know, would I want to go without right now? No, I wouldn't. You know, would I go to the hospital to get like actual, you know, barbiturates? I definitely don't want to go that route. You know, even if they're for free, because getting off them was such fucking hell. Getting off this might be a little more difficult. Well, more difficult for right now, but not as difficult as getting off barbiturates or, you know, the prescription opioids or anything. Like I don't want to go that route if I can avoid it, you know. So not everyone can, you know, and that's okay too. As long as I'm checking my motives, as long as I'm trying my best to stay clear-headed and to stay, you know, other-centered instead of self-centered, you know, and for that, I'll say thank you for my recovery. Thank you for letting me talk a whole load of shit, and I'll wish y'all another 24 hours of sobriety.